The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shades thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us.
Stuff that
was that all featured on Adam 22?
Don't tackle. What's that?
That was all featured on Adam 22. Oh yes. Good morning, everybody. That's right. It's Thursday, March 27th, and today is National Scribble Day.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. For all the people that like to color outside the lines, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your borders, right, Jason?
No. I was gonna say something else, but I'm gonna be polite today.
Please.
There's a first.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in public with light jazz playing. Be nice.
Is it National Clarinet Day? What's happening in here?
Yeah, it's also National Spanish Paella Day.
Hey.
Ooh, I can make paella tonight.
Speaking of no borders, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Speaking of no borders, it's National Joe Day.
Sleepy, or we're talking about
really?
coffee?
It's National Joe Day.
That was my dad's name. God rest his soul, Joe Gordon.
Oh,
Yes,
cheers to your dad,
rest
Rachelle.
in peace, Joe
Yeah.
Gordon. Yes,
Love you,
JG. Yes, not mad at that. And thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above and down below to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, X, Instagram, Facebook, Kick, as well as on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. So welcome to everyone joining us from any one of those platforms. And I guess, man, since it's National Joe Day, Rachelle, I think we should dedicate the show in the memory of your past father.
I would really enjoy that.
Amazing. Well, it is now proclaimed and is now been set into law on High at 9 News.
It's been codified.
Amazing.
Yes. And speaking of codifying, we're going to roll into the DEI dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte, the man with the most meat, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
We have
Pause.
that disclaimer.
Can I kindly ask you to mute so I don't have jazz background?
Yeah. Jenny, you need to be muted. That's totally obnoxious.
I do like it, but
It's ridiculous, bro. She knows better.
It's classy, Butthole.
All right. So, despite a record amount of bipartisan marijuana bills filed by both Indiana Republicans and Democrats, supported by Hoosier State constituents of all political leanings, every effort to legalize and decriminalize weed up until the late last month have failed in Indiana. You see, Indiana lawmakers buckled to pressure applied by Republican-led coalition, Safe and Regulated Indiana, that joined forces with arguably the most powerful prohibitionist in recent cannabis legislative history, Kevin Sabet of Smart Approaches to Marijuana, essentially giving a giant middle finger to Indiana voters. And I think it's important to note here that Indiana is part of the original Big Ten College Sports Conference Consortium. even though IU is better known historically for accolades on the basketball court than on the football field, they did have a damn good football team this year. The Hoosiers finished second in the Big Ten, earning their first ever berth to the BCS college football playoffs. And even after a blowout loss in the first round to Notre Dame, who'd in turn lose it all to Big Ten Indiana rival, the Ohio State University, there is one thing that the Hoosiers would get to hold over the Buckeyes' heads from last football season. They beat Michigan. OSU did not. And for those who forgot, the Republican leadership in the state of Ohio notoriously went against the will of their constituents and tried to kill off their legalization efforts, only to be met by a bipartisan uprising that won after citing consecutive losses to Michigan on the football field and the shame that it would bring on the state if they lost to them in the weed game too. Obviously, the legislators backed down, but they continue to get their asses kicked by Michigan Weed, who had been and continued, I should say, to advertise on bordering county billboards up until they were banned outright last December. So what has all this got to do with Indiana? Fast forward to this Tuesday, and according to Casey Smith of Indiana Capitol Chronicle, an Indiana Senate committee has approved an amendment to House Bill 1390 that bans outdoor marijuana advertising, particularly on billboards, amid concerns about misleading messages. The bill, originally focused on Bureau of Motor Vehicle Matters, now includes a provision prohibiting ads for marijuana and other Schedule I substances like heroin and LSD. Representative Jim Pressel, Republican of Rolling Prairie, argued that billboards and mobile ads promoting dispensaries in Michigan create confusion since marijuana remains illegal in Indiana. Per the article, Pressel, whose district extends to Indiana's northern border, described billboards all over the place that say, "Come to my store and buy this," referencing dispensaries in Michigan where recreational marijuana is prominent. And we have trucks, mobile billboards that drive around and sit in front of our parks. That is unacceptable, and it sends a mixed message to the consumer that this product is illegal, that this product is legal in Indiana, which it is not. I think it's an unfair message, and I believe that we should get in front of this to say that if it's an illegal substance listed on our illegal substance list in the state of Indiana, you should not be able to advertise for that. Opponents, including the Outdoor Advertising Association of Indiana, raised First Amendment concerns, suggesting disclaimers instead of an outright ban. But more Republican lawmakers piled on, even expressing their openness to expanding the restriction beyond billboards. Indiana will be damned if they become the next Ohio. They beat Michigan on the football field and will do the same in the fight to save the souls of all the Lil Hoosier babies. Safe and regulated Indiana and Kevin Sabet have vowed to protect. It's stories like this in times like these that remind me that, you know what? Maybe leaving the Midwest for California was the right decision after all. The bill will now move to the Senate Appropriations Committee for further considerations. I am Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News.
You know, Rico, this story is interesting, but you know, I feel like they have very little enforcement power on this overall. I mean, the most I think that they going to be able to do is give them a ticket or something. You know what I mean? Maybe even possibly a moving violation if it's a driving billboard or whatnot. But like, how are they really going to enforce this on businesses that they have no jurisdiction over?
Because what they're going to do is they're going to go to the state that has jurisdiction over them. They're going to go to that governing body and they're going to say, hey, at which point they're going to look at these licensed companies and say, what are you guys doing?
No.
And also, why are you doing it in another state?
No.
We're talking about Michigan.
Stop it. Michigan is not going to give a shit about what Indiana has to say about that.
We're going to see, Jason. We're going to see. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, listen, I'm all for being.
Oh, Jenny says FAFO.
Not sell itself anymore. But At the same time, there's no reason to park a billboard sign in front of a park.
There is.
Jenny Beth,
it's hurting cattle.
They tried that. Ohio tried that, and Michigan didn't give a shit.
It's like hurting cattle, Jenny Beth. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
But Michigan's also failing right now as an industry, so they might want to drum up some fines so they can get some money in.
I think they're going to be cutting off that tax revenue even more if they stop that advertising in neighboring states.
Well, if Gretchen Whitmore stopped stealing the money, we wouldn't really have that problem.
That's a lie.
No, it's not.
I don't know if I believe the prohibitionist talking about the parking in front of the park or whatever. Even if he did, you know, like stay in your lane. You can't stop it. I can see them going after the people that own the billboards and for advertising, you know, doing business with them. But look at another one of God's great sins of gambling. A casino can advertise in any state they want to, legal or not.
Message.
Yeah, Dale, what do you have to say about this? Let's get some legal opinion on here.
Speech, and the First Amendment doesn't strictly apply to commercial speech. They can issue injunctions and then follow up with contempt. But someone's got to go out there and actually enforce it, as you said. And you know, enforcing against cannabis doesn't really work real well.
No.
The black market just picked up and took their dollars and left, right?
Yep.
They said, we give up, we're going away. Yeah, right. It doesn't work that way.
Exactly, Dale. I think they're barking up the wrong tree with this one. And they may be doing it for their constituent basis and whatnot, but I think this is another big nothing burger right here, Rico.
I feel like if I was a trapper, I'd get my billboards going to get them popping right now in Indiana. They are defying the will of the people right now. They keep on trying. And the crazy thing is there was a bipartisan, this is Ohio part 2, except Indiana saying, fuck all that. We're not going to become you guys, and we don't care what the people say. We are united in our efforts because we have Project Sam at our back.
Oh boy. Boy.
Heavens, I bet our God and Savior.
Well, speaking of advertising, Jason.
Yeah. Hold on. Oh, Rachelle, do you have something you'd like to throw in on this? You're the closest to Indiana.
Yeah.
Minnesota got their own issues.
Yeah, exactly. We got enough problems going as it is. I don't have time for them.
Dale, I don't see how they're going to be able to actually have any type of meaningful enforcement on this. I think this is all just for, just basically. I think they did this whole lot just for us, so that way they gave us something to talk about this morning.
Yeah,
I think they're going to block it.
If I was advising them, I would say take any direct reference to a business in Michigan off of it. Just tell the voters it's illegal in Indiana. It's legal in Michigan. There are dispensaries there. They're X number of miles away. That's free speech. They can kiss your ass. And,
Yep.
tell them we're not advertising for anybody. We're just honestly telling folks in Indiana, they iron their underwear and they can't get their head out of their ass. So go to Michigan.
Yep.
And,
you can drive to this address and you will be served.
Right. I don't see why. I mean, if you are pro-business, I don't see why you don't go with the Outdoor Advertising Association of Indiana's recommendation. Just put a disclosure. Make sure you have a prominent disclosure.
You mean a disclaimer?
And just find this. Yeah, disclaimer.
There we go.
And find the shit out of them. Hey, you guys want to put this up? You pay this amount and collect that tax revenue and make money.
That would have been the smart thing to do, bro. But you got to remember that that Indiana is run by the evangelical right-wing conservatives who believe that weed is bad, and so they believe it's the devil's lettuce out there, and so that's not. They all need to go back and read the Old Testament of Genesis 1:29.
And they also believe that Donald Trump is the second coming. And got him back in office twice. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not sure if Donald Trump is. I think possibly J.D. Vance may be, possibly. But nonetheless, we're going to go into a commercial and we're going to be right back.
Oh, man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, But I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you know you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Tested. It's not a name, it's a promise.
No, no, mature.
And we are back.
Oh yeah, up next and switching it up this morning because somebody's got an early tea time. She's ready to hit them balls. It is the founder of Kind Cannabis Consulting and Just to Serve 501c3, and today she has joined us with a beautiful background soundtrack of what is that? Is that Miles Davis that I hear? You know what I'm saying? Jenny Beth Dills.
It's the piano man.
Jazz cabbage for that ass today.
Oh, I see what you did there, Rico. That was pretty good.
The bass. No treble, no trouble. It's all about the bass.
Flip that.
Yeah, that's a good clip.
Dale, you're gonna love this one. I got a doozy for you guys. California distros, pucker your butt cheeks because you might be in trouble too soon. Because feds charged 3 in Tibor's vape case. Now, what you guys know this as is dank vapes. Federal charges have been filed in a multi-million-dollar drug trafficking case tied to a well-known kosher butcher shop in University Heights. Aiden Sanders, 37, along with Jake Lindsay and Justin Bailey, now face felony charges of conspiracy to distribute hashish oil, a potent cannabis concentrate. The trio agreed to bypass a grand jury and were charged in federal court in Cleveland on March 17th. Now, Dale, why might someone choose to not have a grand jury indict and agree to the indictment? Is it because they might have cooperated?
Certainly possible, and it's a quick way to get them in front of the court and not have to deal with indicting them.
Lord, the case stems from a 2020 raid involving the Cahuenga County Sheriff's Department and federal agents at Tibor's Kosher Meats in multiple homes linked to the Sanders family. Authorities seized boxes, bags, and even broke through walls during the search, uncovering suspected marijuana, THC products, cash, firearms, and financial records. Federal prosecutors allege Tibor's was used to launder drug money connected to the production and distribution of over 3.7 million illegal THC vape cartridges. Assets including homes, gold, a Porsche, a boat, and luxury watches were targeted for seizure in a related civil case. The owner of Tibor's, Tibor Rosenberg, who sold the business in 2019, says he had no idea it would be tied to an illegal drug operation. Rosenberg told the Cleveland Jewish News, "I'm very sad they ruined my name. Arraignment dates for the defendants have not been set." So now here's the interesting part for this. If you are a California operator, you are familiar with dank vapes. I don't like them. I think they're doo-doo product, but they're everywhere. The reason why they're everywhere is because they're flying out the back door faster than Jason Beck out of a Joe Biden rally. So
easy there.
This is a problem for a lot of operators. And I think if we're looking at a 2020 raid going into a 2021 charge, that's a lot of time because last I checked, it's 2025 and we're finally getting around to this indictment. So that's a whole lot of time for them to go into your facility, do business with you, and throw your name out. So I think that this is an interesting case. It's something that you guys need to watch. They're focused on the deli because I actually got this from the Cleveland Jewish News. But you guys need to stay on top of this. This is important. And there's also one name that is notably missing, which is the owner of Dank Vape. So, I'm just going to go ahead and just say we'll see. But every time my gut tells me something, it's not wrong. And my tummy's tingling. So this stinks. Throw it back to you guys.
I thought dank vape was in the clear and they're trying to be all legal and stuff. I thought they got their shit together.
Apparently not.
Or cocaine that you're smoking, thinking that. Come on now.
There's a 5 years statute of limitations here, guys, and that's what I got wrapped up in. And if it's a conspiracy, the last act of the conspiracy continues the statute of limitations. So they've got microscopes up some people's asses here, and they're also watching sort of clandestinely. People are just not that smart. You bring stuff in through metric, the next thing you know, it's not in your warehouse. It's like, okay, where'd it go? Well, these trigger federal investigations. we sort of gotten used to having the feds back off. So people have gone sort of on steroids and what they're doing and taking shit out the back door and selling it across the country. But trust me, they have sports and orange suits waiting for you if you don't stop this shit.
Sporks and orange suits. Like they're like little onesies, right, Dale?
Yeah, and they don't fit well for big old guys like me.
Yes, and you know, this case is so crazy to me. I have a feeling, you know, I don't have any paperwork on this, but I have a feeling that someone is doing some telling in regards with this case. Personally, it sounds like there's going to be some people that are going to get thrown under the bus, and we are going to definitely continue to cover this as the developments start to show themselves, so per se.
Well, that's my concern, Jason. That's why I wanted to present this story this morning. I don't normally read. I'm sure it's a wonderful publication, but I don't too typically read the Cleveland Jewish News.
You should. It's a great publication.
The T's in there now.
Yeah,
that's where we got to look. But the concern to me is it's such a widely spread brand throughout California, and we've had so much public, outrage and so much attention on the fact that there's a lot of licensed product that sneaks out, right? And because everybody's agreed to shut their freaking mouths, no one's connected those dots yet. But a company of this size being busted 5 years ago and then operating and still doing the same, whatever they've been doing, maybe allegedly for 5 years, should make everyone clench a little bit tighter right now.
But I didn't ship anything. Yeah. Okay, buddy. All right. Okay. To my understanding, Jenny Beth, this case, they were found with like millions of cartridges.
I believe they said they were charged with. Let's go back and look, and I'll give you.
Yeah, let's make sure we get that part correct right there.
Yeah, because this is you guys are gonna have.
You guys are gonna flip your noodles when you hear about this.
And this actually, they started investigating it in 2019. They bought the place for $100,000, which is kind of a lot, right?
2019. That was. All
right, so they're
pre-COVID.
Distributed more. Shush. Because I got to go soon. They distributed more than 3.7 million THC vape cartridges from California to various other states. 3.7 million carts.
3.7 million carts, okay? All right, let's do some math. 3.7 million, okay? Times $40. Or even 25 on a wholesale level. These people were getting some serious cake, so they should definitely be able to afford some adequate legal defense. But it doesn't sound like they have chosen to spend their pennies wisely, Dale.
Well, if you hearken back to the Anthony Allegretti,
let's bring it up. Yeah,
where conspiracy is an agreement with two or more people to commit an unlawful act, or to commit a lawful act in an unlawful manner, and anybody that participates in this gets stuck with everything everybody along the line does. So they're looking at probably a 20-piece, that kind of weight, looking at a 20-piece. The organizers are looking at enhancements above that. And you get a hold of some young guy who loaded shit in the back of a truck because he was told by whoever to do it. And they go, I ain't going to prison for 20 years for your ass.
Right.
They start running their mouth, and this begins to unravel. They get access to text messages. And these people are not any smarter than the group that was on that Let's Bomb Yemen page that were just fucking running their mouth about shit without wondering who's looking at this. And I've seen these cases where you pull a text and you go, what the hell were you thinking? My client was texting, I'm going to sell you this, but can you get me some packaging for some illegal hash sales? And you think, did your mother drop you on your head a lot when you were a child? Or do you really understand you can go to prison for this shit?
Yeah.
And it starts to unravel. The next thing you know, they got the goods on the top people who they're going to do enhancements for. And they got a lot of incentive to run their mouth about other people. The next thing you know, everybody's wrapped up in this. And the indictment means you get notification. They're going to go in and indict you. You can ask to present evidence at an indictment. They do a criminal complaint against you. You got nothing to say. They do a preliminary hearing later, or they do an indictment which supersedes it. And this is just begin to unravel. And if you thought the feds were gone, I'm here to tell you, they're not.
They're not. They ain't going nowhere.
You know what the real crime here is?
What's that?
3.7 million people smoked shitty distillate.
Hold on. A lot of that was vitamin E acetate, Jenny Beth. Wasn't even distillate.
The real crime here is violating kosher meats over here. That meat ain't kosher no more.
Oh man.
Are these kosher vape pens too? I want to know.
No, they're definitely not kosher. That's for sure.
Cheese on that beef.
Great story. I definitely wanted to listen, call attention to this as quickly as possible, if nothing else, than for the safety of my fellow operators. You got to know who you're fucking doing business with.
I mean, this is the whole vape pen line that was behind the whole VapeGate scandal with the whole vitamin E acetate thing at right in the middle of pandemic.
And like, listen, if you're willing to do that, you're probably going to fold like a cheap suit when the feds come knocking at the door.
Without getting us in too much trouble here, Tibor's kosher meat market has 5-star ratings across the board on Yelp, Facebook, everywhere else. I'm pretty sure they're going to be fine. They're going to be all right.
What do you think, Rachelle? Have you ever tried a dank vape cartridge? You like alternative cannabinoids?
Yeah, but I don't like synthetic fake trap
All
carts.
right.
No, absolutely not. I would never touch a trap cart in my life. I will not. But it is funny though.
Well, to be fair, they're licensed carts. They just get trapped out.
Hold on, let Rachelle finish.
I don't trust bootleg carts. Put it that way.
Okay.
I don't trust bootleg carts. Let me rephrase that. But I do notice that people don't care about them, and it's a conversation I've been having a lot, and it's going to come up in my story when we're talking about quality and standards. Consumers don't care, right? All consumers want is a cheap, easy way to get high. And I'll tell the story real quick and then we should move on. But I was at a bar in Minneapolis 3 years ago, and I saw a gal with a vape cart, and I asked her about it. I said, "Where'd you get that?" She said, "My guy." "Where does he get it?" "Oh, he has a plug in Colorado." Okay. Ask her to show me a picture of the packaging. It's clearly a bootleg part, right? And I said to her, "Do you have any concerns about the authenticity of this package? Do you have any concerns about the quality or safety of this product, or the fact that you can't actually verify that it's from the regulated market?" And she just looked at me and was like, "I've been buying weed from some guy for 20 years and not asking any questions. Why would I start now?" And frankly, I think that's how a lot of consumers in this country feel.
I think you're right about that. 100%. I think that is a very real component. And in the essence of time, we are going to keep this train rolling. We're going to roll right into attorney at law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He is the founder of Armada Law, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. That's right, you guys. Yes, Dale. He has represented physicians, hospitals, insurance companies, cops, corrections officers, and for the last 25 years, he specialized in cannabis law. He served a 5-year federal prison sentence for helping medical marijuana patients and managed to still save his law license. He's blunt. He doesn't smoke them because they're ratchet. He's also honest, and he's unconcerned with your opinion as well as everyone else's opinion as well. And he will show you how to defy gravity by pissing up a rope. That's right. It is your favorite T.O. logo himself, and you can now find him at his own law office at the law office of Dale Schafer. It is attorney Mr. Dale Schafer.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. On the East Coast, I hope you're hanging in there. Down in the fire zone in the South, keep your head down, your ass out of line of fire, because it's going to get worse. My story today got a hold of me because it involves autism spectrum disorder. I've got 2 grandsons that have that or diagnosed with that. I've got a niece who's fully autistic. So when I read this, I thought, okay, it's about time people started looking at this seriously. And it comes out of Marijuana Movement yesterday from Ben Adlin. And the headline is CBD-Rich Cannabis Offers Potential Benefits for People with Autism Spectrum Disorder, Scientific Review Finds. Now, what this comes out of Brazil, and they reviewed studies that were published. And it seems that if someone on the autism spectrum uses a CBD-rich product, it tends to be helpful for them. Well, that's sort of a no-shit Sherlock type of statement. And in the United States, there's 6 states right now that specifically allow ASD as a diagnosis to be able to get a medical marijuana card or whatever they're calling it. And in California, we have an all-inclusive one, which states any illness for which marijuana provides relief, you can issue it for. But within my own family group, we're a cannabis advocate family. My oldest grandson, for reasons that you might imagine, he's 20, almost 25. When his grandparents went to prison for weed, he was real reluctant to want to do anything with weed. No, he doesn't like it, scares him. And he truly is on the spectrum, carries his transformers around with him every place he goes, and get the benefit of a transformer show whenever Zach shows up. So it's a wonderful thing. The younger one was just revised to ADHD, and these are called neurodivergent disorders. And to be honest, I really don't understand them. But what this study is pointing out is that almost every one of these studies has shown positive effects for people with ASD, and they have anxiety, they don't sleep well, they don't read people well, so they're very socially inadept, which causes their anxiety. They have these repetitive behaviors they engage in that are just very hard to be around. Anything that can provide some relief for them, my heart goes out to these folks because I got them in my own family. Now, what this points out realistically is that anyone that's involved in treating people with ASD should be providing the names of people for studies, and then design real studies. Okay, just don't have, well, 6 women said they gave their kid this stuff and it worked well for them. You know, that's fucking stupid. Design a study where you do triple blind, where nobody knows what these people are getting, okay, and then realistically document in these clinical trials what you're finding. And I'm sure you're going to find that this provides more positive benefits for people with ASD than it provides the negative side. The negative side tends to be drowsiness. Okay, maybe some loss of appetite, and add a little more THC perhaps. That would be my, give them a little more weed, they'll get a little more hungry. But this is a problem that science wasn't facing back in the 19th and the early 20th century when cannabis was legal. No one had the idea of autism or an autism spectrum disorder in mind. They were just, we called them FLKs, funny looking kids. What does that mean? Well, they act weird. Okay, they won't look you in the eye. They repetitively do shit. They cut themselves. They can't sleep. They rock. It's just the kind of stuff that when I see my grandkids doing it, I scratch my head because I'm an old trad dad. My kids, there might be pain in the ass, but they don't do that stuff. They are able to communicate their feelings to me. My grandsons can't. So this tugs at my heartstrings, and if I have any hope for anybody, it's that the medical groups in every country that are thinking about legalizing cannabis or already have is to authorize real studies with these people. And they start out as children in diagnosis. CBD doesn't cause massive psychoactive effects. No one thinks that using CBD is going to cause long-term problems for these people. They point out in this study that they followed like 170 or 180,000 pregnancies for years, and these are moms using weed when they were pregnant, and they found no problems. Okay. So the hysteria, the Kevin Sabets, our children, stop it. This stuff is safer than Adderall, which they give kids all the time. When you look at what the pharmaceuticals are being used to treat this, you look at the side effects, and you look at the side effects of CBD, it's like they're not even in the same universe. So let's stop with the concerns and hysteria about doing these studies, and let's do realistic studies so that parents who are dealing with autistic children or children on the spectrum have more alternatives to help their children better interact with the world. I'm going to throw this back at you for what you think, but this is a grandpa screaming, stop it. Let's fix this because these are real kids and they need help. Go back to you. What do you guys think?
Man.
I love this story, and every time I hear about another study about cannabis for autism, which there are now many, and we've written about it quite a bit at Green State, I just get so excited because I know that this is such a challenging thing. My nephew is autistic, he's nonverbal, and I see how my sister struggles and how so many families struggle. And when he's around, I give him CBD in his water And it's amazing what it does for him. I don't know how consistent she is when he's not around, but I definitely can see him more calm. I mean, he definitely has incidents, right? He has some self-injurious behaviors, and anything that we can do to help people just be more comfortable in their bodies, I think is amazing and give families relief. So thanks for sharing the story, Dale. It's really great.
I want to second that. Something I don't talk about too much is, my daughter has autism too. That's something that me and my wife have weighed, treating her because of a lot of her behaviors that that we have to deal with. That are she's verbal. She was nonverbal until 3 years old. We got her in a special program here in California. Another one of the reasons why I can't leave this damn state. These stories are very, very encouraging, and it's a tough spot that we're in because my wife is in the mental health field dealing with kids too. So there's a lot of stuff that we have to deal with, a lot of risk that we take on, with me continuing to be in the cannabis space. And just the more studies like this that come out, giving shedding positive light on what it can do, especially for kids with autism, I'm all for it. Appreciate you taking this one today, Dale.
Yeah, I love that story, Dale. I think it's great to see more research backing what a lot of parents and caregivers have been saying anecdotally for years. I'd love to see more.
This is the angle that I feel like all the prohibitionists need to get on, because this truly is all about the kids. And so what about the kids? This is the angle that they should be focusing on when they bring those prohibitionist points, talking points to the table. This is the angle that they need to be coming from.
Well, and from a 30,000 foot view, I mean, in our family, we have physicians going back to the Civil War, and they definitely use cannabis and cannabis products to treat people up until it became illegal in 1937. And nobody did a triple blind study. They tried something, the parents report back, hey, they slept better last night. Oh, they're not so much repetitive activity. They're more verbal, okay? Mm-hmm. They're less anxious. When you report that back and it works, it's like, okay, we don't need a triple blind study. It's only for the modern environment we need these triple blind studies. There was studies done for Epidiolex on the relative safety of CBD products on humans. Mm-hmm. They should start. Don't go back and repeat it. Is it safe? No. Let's go into phase 3 trials. Let's look for what are the doses. They talked about this in the study, that they didn't do enough careful study of the mean deviation from the norm. Mm-hmm. Okay, if you find the basic behavior, how far away from that do we get before we see an increase in these symptoms? So doctors can actually educate parents on the dosages to use. And then the legal market is where you really need to focus in, where they can give you a product that has a designated and tested amount of CBD in it and whatever else is in there, so you know the kid gets the same dose every time. That's always been a problem. When you make your own products, you're really not sure how much is in there. And if we can get this more dose regulated so parents can get it, and especially make these goddamn insurance companies pay for it. Mm-hmm. This is an accepted FDA-approved product, Epidiolex is, okay, for seizures. We can take most of that and prove that it works for these kids, and then have these insurance companies, they're not going to like it, but fuck them. Mm-hmm. I don't care if they don't like it or not. They're stealing our money and then denying claims. Make them pay for this shit, because I can tell you, I've watched my children struggle to deal with their own kids who have these disorders, and they smoke a lot of weed just to deal with it, but it doesn't always help fix the kid. This is not just the kid. This is the entire family that's dealing with this kid. And I'm sure, Rico, you can tell us there's been plenty of sleepless nights where you're wondering, what do we do now? Mm-hmm. Okay. And this can offer such an easy solution. And I'd really like them to focus on what role does the endocannabinoid system play in these disorders, and see if we can understand that and target that a little better, so that you can cut down the side effect profiles and really help these kids. And this is heartfelt, because I got them in my family. And when anybody tries to, attack children and say, oh, what about the kids? Yeah, fuck you. The kids need this too, if it's well controlled. Mm-hmm. So that's my position. And if people don't like it, Kevin Savett can kiss my ass.
Yeah. So I'm with that, Dale. Anyone else have any other final thoughts before we go to commercial on this? All right, seeing no, we're going to roll into our next commercial, and we are going to be right back.
My nephew's just, if he saw a girl naked,
and we are back, you guys. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you smash that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you've not subscribed already. And all of the articles that we cover on today's show, you can find directly on our website at www.highat9news.com. I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that, they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi. And we are back, you guys.
All right, y'all. Gas station Delta 8 has unfortunately become the new norm down in the great state of Texas for this fine gentleman representing ATX. Jason?
That's Austin.
He figured that he's going to get up out of there, hit the high road, and break us off with another hard-hitting story straight out the Great Purple State.
It's a red state. It doesn't match your hoodie. It does not match your hoodie, Rico. It's a red state.
Oh,
you guys can dream all you want.
Hey, how's Hot Wheels doing down there, man?
Hot Wheels is getting it, boy. Jasmine might be in a little bit of trouble with these guys. Anyway, reporting live from the Great Purple State of Texas in the ATX. I got to tell you, staying here in Texas, it sure seems like in Texas, the second something starts working, especially if it's popular, profitable, and makes people feel good, there's always a politician nearby looking to regulate it like it knocked over a liquor store. This is kind of where we are with House Bill 28. On the face, HB 28 is being pitched as a reasonable middle ground, something between full-blown prohibition, hello, Senate Bill 3, and the current Wild West of THC-infused hemp beverages. It's got licensing fees, manufacturing standards, and an age limit of 21, and a ban on synthetics. None of that is too crazy if you're already operating responsibly, and many of the good players are. The licensing fees are steep, $5,000 to start, $2,500 annually, but manageable if it buys legitimacy and a clear regulatory lane. In fact, with some smart modifications, HB 28 might actually be a decent bill for now. That is, if it stays focused on public safety, product quality, and keeping kids out of the mix. But let's not get too cozy yet, because the real danger isn't what's already in the bill. That's what could quietly get tacked on by the time it reaches the governor's desk. There's been a lot of not so subtle effort brewing to force THC beverage companies into the existing liquor distribution model. You know, the one where a handful of gatekeepers get to decide who gets shelf space, who gets pricing power, and who gets to survive. In that system, if you're not partnered with a distributor, you're pretty much out of luck. Right now, those distributors aren't legally allowed to own a piece of alcohol brands that they move. Thank goodness for that, but THC drinks aren't alcohol, not yet. And that's the loophole some folks are quietly trying to drive a convoy of money through. The concern that these same middlemen are already sniffing around hemp beverage startups, offering helpful partnerships, which funny enough seem to include equity grabs before there's even a law requiring distribution at all. And if the lawmakers let those distribution chains grab a hold of this new market before the legal structure is finalized, Well, it won't be a hip industry anymore. It'll be another exclusive club where small brands need permission and a checkbook just to play. So here's the real talk. HB 28 isn't great, but it doesn't have to be terrible. With a few key tweaks, like not mandating distribution involvement, not handing the market to monopolies, and not opening the door to forced ownership deals, this could be a foundation for a more mature, regulated, and fair THC beverage space. In a perfect world, we'd have smarter legislation with more nuance and fewer lobbyists. But this is Texas, and let's be honest, we don't get perfect. What we get are deeply flawed bills that we can maybe fix with something livable. So yeah, HB 28 might be the devil you know, but if you pay attention, push back on the power grabs, and hold the line on distribution freedom, it could also be the start of something decent. Watch the amendments, follow the money, and if you're in the THC business, keep both eyes on the liquor guys. They're not coming for your product, they're coming for your company. I'm Stone Slade with the High at 9 News.
Interesting, Stone. You're worried about what could possibly go in it, as opposed to what it is its current state.
What's in it in its current state too isn't great. It needs to be modified. But I've had some talks with some guys that own the beverages in the liquor in the THC space here. Pretty big brands in Texas, and that's what they're talking about. Is this it's not perfect, but they think that if there is going to be, there's a bunch of bills in that involve cannabis. This is the one they feel like could go somewhere if there's going to be any change, but not the way it is. If they get forced into the distribution model, that's like the mafia. They don't want to be forced into that.
Brian Dombrowski from Aim High Hemp Distribution, he says Stone Slade is spot on.
Hey, thanks, Brian.
Look at that. Shout out to Aim High Hemp Distribution. Much love to them, man. You know, this whole Texas thing, man. I just hope Texas gets it somewhat right, because they've had it so wrong for so long that it's like, you know what I mean. And it's not like any of these other states are like good examples of like what to do. I think probably the state that probably does it the best out of everybody is probably Missouri overall. But I don't think that there's a state that does it better than Missouri currently.
And there's enough states that have failed to, like, come on, dude, you can figure it out at this point. Like, these guys just can't get out of their own way. That's our problem here.
Yeah, and then, you know, and it doesn't help when you guys have people like Dan Patrick as elected officials over there. You know, I mean, he's a grifter. He's not even from Texas. He's from Maryland. And just doesn't help the situation when he's trying to bring in his own policy to infect on the great citizens of Texas.
Thank you.
Come on. Yeah, I mean, Texas is Texas, man. So I think they're gonna keep on taxing until more Californians move out there and sweat a little bit bluer.
Wouldn't you say Texas will keep on hooking them, Rico?
Hooking them.
Yes.
I didn't say hook 'em, but yeah, big shout out to the Aggies. Big shout out to all them Texas schools, man, out there, and all the Texans. I got lots of people down there still, and but I don't know, man. Texas politics is something else, man.
You know,
it's very hard to get a Democrat into one of those high seats in Texas.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
You don't want to elect a Democrat. You want to just elect good Republicans, bro. You don't want to elect any Democrats.
Well, I'm just telling you, dude. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be. Like, where's some viable options? Like, come on, dude. Run against these guys. Get them the hell out.
It is you guys turned red. Was it back when Daddy Bush got into office? This is when y'all first turned red, and it hasn't been haven't looked back since. Was that the late 80s? That right?
Was the great Ann Richards, I believe. Was that our last Democratic governor? I believe, maybe. Was it Ann Richards or Mark White? I don't remember.
Anyway. Either way,
I don't think this is just Texas' problem.
Yeah.
I mean, here in California, we can't get shit done through our legislature, and it's totally blue. And it's because the flow of cash and power has gone to certain people, and it doesn't matter how good something might be for the industry. If it's going to cost them money or power, they won't cooperate. And so a lot of what's going on right now is just performative bullshit. You've got to go behind the scenes and find out who's getting the money and who the legislature will listen to. And it sure as hell ain't the industry. That's not happening out here.
Well, the C word.
Let's not do 19% excise tax. Well, no shit, Sherlock. 15%'s too high. And now, we're going to fight not to go to 19. They should drop it down to 1%.
Well, yeah,
none percent.
I mean, I feel you. I mean, really, all you need is just some little, small, sensible pieces like age gating, child-proof packaging, whatever, and like that's all that really Texas needs. Texas has a great open market right now, and they don't, I don't think they need to change much. They can put a few different safety precautions in place, but other than that, leave it the hell alone. Let Texas be Texas. And Brian in the chat, he says, I'm working on bringing Gretchen and Project Champion into the mix in Texas. Time to get loud, he says.
That's huge, Brian. Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Gretchen. Work that she's doing over Project Champion and everything with the, especially with those ex-athletes. She's doing some great work over there. Mm-hmm. And I just got one question for you, Stone Slade. Sean Salvaje joined us yesterday, another ATX resident. Mm-hmm. And
Austin.
She had a very peculiar claim, got into it a little bit with Jenny Beth about the quality of Texas weed.
We all know it's
might be better than California.
Stop
what say
it.
You?
Stop it.
I'll say I haven't found it, and man, I've been here a long time. Mm-hmm. So
exactly.
I can tell you that allegedly my great stuff comes from maybe a place that was already mentioned by Rico. I don't know, man. I haven't found it. If it's here, Sean, hit me up.
Mm-hmm. Rachelle, you have any thoughts on this, Rachelle? This whole Texas debacle?
I don't know. We've been watching it pretty closely all around. Mm-hmm. And I, frankly, because you guys know I'm biased, I pray to God that this doesn't go through and that hemp can remain free in Texas, so that my husband can continue to thrive.
I'm with that.
They distribute a lot of products down there. So.
Yeah. I'm with that.
You're honest about your bias. There you go.
Mm-hmm. And
I have to be.
Yeah, hey, I'm fine with that. You know what I mean? I don't mind a little disclaimer. I'm all good with that. Speaking of disclaimers, the C word throwing a super chat. He says, "Are we sad that teens no longer smoke cannabis, or are we happy they get by fine without it?" I'm not sure if that's accurate or whatnot, but that's cute. Cute, the C word. That's cute. We appreciate the support, man. Thank you so
better
much.
than alcohol. They ain't drinking.
Yeah. I think teens are still smoking. I'm not too sure where he's getting that data from, but nonetheless, we're gonna roll into
where are they getting it from, Jason?
I don't know. We're gonna roll into our final commercial, and we're gonna be right back.
Oh man, your knees still bothering you, man?
Yeah, my left one, But I'll tell you what, I've been using this new CBD cream, and it works like a miracle.
CBDs? I done heard about them CBDs. I was out there on them Twitters the other day, and I heard they get you high as a kite.
Well, not this stuff. This stuff is tested. Every batch, all the way through, pharmaceutical grade, and in a GMP certified facility. So you're not going to have to worry about flying high.
GMP certified? I might have to try some of this out. Where I'm even find this?
You go directly to aimhighhemp.com and they will ship it to your door right away. Tested. It's not a name, it's a promise.
Dr. Feel Good.
And we are back, Rico.
Oh my God.
We're rolling into Rachelle. Rico. Yeah.
All right. Up next.
Dale, you got to give him the Heimlich.
What's that?
Dale's going to have to give you the Heimlich.
Oh my God. Yeah, I'm choking over here. Cannabis and psychedelics reporter, editor at Green State, our very own real reporter, real journalist on the show, here to break us off with a little real news.
Hold on. It looks like she's in a real newsroom office right now.
What's that?
Looks like she's in a real newsroom office too.
I know.
San Francisco Chronicle right there.
Oh, look at that.
Right, yeah. Reporting live out of the offices of the San Francisco Chronicle, where she is giving a speech today on how it feels to be a Lego champion of the world. Rachelle Gordon, what do you have for us? Good to have you back.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, live here from the storied San Francisco Chronicle, legacy journalism in the mix. My story today comes from right here in California. I have a new certification, and we're going to see if it actually impacts the industry. I'm very, very curious. But the headline, good old Elliot from Catalyst, you ain't medicine. Weed industry responds to damning pesticides reports. And here we go. It's a little bit of a longer one than I usually do, so I'll try to run through it quick since we're running low on time. One of the main benefits of buying regulated cannabis is the assurance that products are tested. Most consumers trust that shopping in a licensed dispensary means their weed is clean and fit for consumption. However, reports of banned pesticides in legal pot products sent shockwaves through the California cannabis community, leading many to question if regulated really does mean safer. In response, some cannabis brands are taking steps to raise the bar and prove to customers that their products are legit. The Environmental and Consumer Compliance Organization, or ECHO, is a California-based nonprofit education and certification program for cannabis products dedicated to safeguarding consumer health, educating consumers, and elevating industry standards. Founded in late 2024, the group offers voluntary, independent, third-party testing for 138 harmful contaminants, going far above and beyond the small number of pesticides the state of California requires. Here's how it works. Cannabis companies enroll with ECHO, they pay dues for compliance and marketing. Any products they want to be considered for certification are then tested. Moving forward, 2 random SKUs are selected at the retail level every month and set through the rigorous testing panel to ensure compliance. If they pass, the brands are then eligible to add an ECHO-certified logo to their packaging, demonstrating a commitment to higher testing standards. If there's a fail at any point, the certification is revoked, and the brand cannot reapply for 12 months. The price of membership varies depending on revenue and product category, starting around $700 per month. This week, ECHO announced its first cohort of member brands and the findings of an audit that saw both member and non-member brands subject to the nonprofit's testing panel. The results for the non-member brands were alarming, to say the least. According to a release sent to Green State, at least one non-member brand tested positive for a pesticide banned by the DCC. Jennifer Lujan, am I saying that right? Lujan, executive director of ECHO, told Green State that her organization notified the brand, retailer, and lab of the findings. Our initial audit findings revealed a concerning reality about California's cannabis market. Dangerous contaminants are still present in products from some well-known, legal, non-ECHO certified brands, Lujan said via email. When asked about the findings, a DCC spokesperson said via email, "The department takes product safety seriously and will investigate these allegations." All 9 of the initial ECHO members passed their certification. The cohort includes Raw Garden, Noble Pacific, Jetty Extracts, Coastal Sun, Leaf, Conception Nurseries, Bloom, Soma, Rosa Farms, and Howie Roll. Nate Ferguson, co-founder and chief product officer at Jetty, told Green State that being part of the first ECHO cohort is a natural step for the brand. Since its founding in 2013, Jetty has been committed to providing cannabis consumers with the safest, cleanest, most flavorful products. In 2023, we were the first to become OCal certified. In helping to create the ECHO certification, we are continuing to set the standard for clean and effective cannabis products. Elliot Lewis, founder and CEO of cannabis retail chain Catalyst, also serves as the co-founder of ECHO. He told Green State the company is elated to offer consumer products they can trust, and had harsh words for brands using harmful pesticides in the supply chain. Quote, "Standardization and random testing is the necessary element of what I believe is the most critical issue in cannabis, clean product," Lewis said. "In my opinion, if you don't meet the ECHO standard, you ain't medicine. And if you're selling poison, you ain't selling medicine." Concerns over contaminated cannabis are not unique to California. Product recalls from Maine to Washington happen regularly. The issue has become so severe in the Golden State that the DCC allegedly brought in another state agency to help combat the problem. Organizations like ECHO give brands the chance to show consumers they care about quality and are willing to do what it takes to earn their trust. While it may be an added expense, many operators feel the investment will pay dividends at the dispensary, and that it's simply the right thing to do. All right. What do you guys think about this? I definitely have some feelings about this certification. First of all, I think it's great that brands want to go above and beyond to show their products are clean. What I'm concerned about is the cost of it. I feel like a lot of brands won't be able to participate in this simply because they don't have the budget. And I'm also really, really curious if the consumers actually care. To the point that I made earlier, most consumers are shopping by potency and price, right? Like, how many of them are actually going to be looking for something, and how will this change their mind? I'm also very curious, and maybe some of you can answer this, I don't know, but when those stories about the banned pesticides showing up at retail broke, did it actually impact the sales of regulated products? That's my biggest question, because I would assume the answer is no, but maybe I'm wrong. Can anybody tell me otherwise?
So in regards to your question, I think that it did impact sales for a short period of time, and mainly vape products overall, because that was kind of like the focus of the story. And so I did hear from a number of retailers that vape sales were down, but at the same time, humans have a short memory span, and so after it's probably a few months or whatnot, those sales go back up. People like, oh, you know what, they probably got it figured out by now, whatnot, you know what I'm saying? And they just kind of move on, and they forget about that. But I do want to send a big kudos to the Echo Group, Mr. Elliot Lewis, all of the team at
Jen
Catalyst
Lujan doing her thing, man. That's the homie from back in the day. Yeah.
Because
my mistake. Sorry.
Yeah, because the industry does need to police itself in this matter, and so anyone that is participating, I do wish them the most success in this. That they do care about the quality of what they are putting out. But I do agree with you overall, Rachelle, that the end consumer 9 times out of 10 doesn't care. People that have compromised immune systems and things like that are actually patients in what I think generally do care, and they want to be able to trust the retailers that they are purchasing from, that they are getting good product. Not to mention the whole state's whole thing is why you should shop at a retail store is because you're getting clean, tested product. And so it's very I think the message gets very convoluted when you have the state saying that too, and then you have the stories like coming out from the hit pieces with the LA Times and whatnot. So it gets very confusing to the consumer, and there's only so many hours in the day that the consumer can dedicate to actually educating themselves on this topic.
Yeah, I would second that, Jason. I really don't know anybody who, on the consumer side, that's really talking much about pesticides or anything like that. It's good that brands are speaking out against it, or up about the issue, because it is a health issue, and especially if you're looking at this stuff as medicine, you need to be putting clean shit in your body, man. Period. I think this is unfortunately just on a broader scale. I think this could be a huge win if the Trump administration. We know that they're not. I'm not going to get them back and forth with you, Jason. If they were more pro-cannabis, I think this would be a excellent issue to be taken up by RFK Jr. and Maha.
Well,
right?
I think you are. I think you are right about that, and I'm going to push back just a little bit on it, and I'm going to say that this is the most pro-cannabis administration that we have ever seen as an administration.
What about the DEA thing from yesterday? DEA
it doesn't matter. This is the most pro-cannabis administration you've ever been able to witness in history, bro. Show me a better one.
I'm not talking about no whataboutism here, Jason.
I'm not talking about whataboutism either. I'm gonna back my statements up with facts.
I'm not going back and forth with you. The facts are the facts.
Exactly.
What I'm saying is, I wish they would speak out about this, because I think this is a clear. It could be a clear win for them, and they need a win right now. So RFK Jr., if you and your team are out there watching and or listening, man, take this shit up, man. Get this dirty weed out the system, because people actually need medicine, and they don't need that shit filled with heavy metals and filled with a bunch of pesticides either.
You know, the thing about it, though, you know, Rico, right now is that the Maha movement is really focused on food, and the fact of the matter is that our cannabis is much more tested and regulated and has much more oversight over it than our whole food supply. And not every human consumes cannabis, but every human does consume food.
That's right, because these big corporations haven't had a chance to get their hands on us yet, even though they're circling this whole industry like vultures.
They almost did by Biden's move, trying to move it to Schedule 3. That would have done it right there. That would have been the nail in the coffin.
Oh, this whataboutism, man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that ECHO is a lot like a good housekeeping seal of approval, and it should be there.
Yeah,
to enhance your
exactly, Dale.
When the DCC says, "Oh, we're going to investigate," that tells me they're going to circle jerk, not get a lot done. And I've filed a lot of cultivation plans and pesticide plans with ag commissioners and things like that, and it dumbfounds me how something can end up in a product that's supposed to be strictly prohibited, and yeah, they'll recall the product, but these businesses are still doing business. You can do an R&D test that includes, you know, Elliott's Big 40, and it's not that expensive. But before you bring shit into your company, you should know what's in it. And if it's got something in it's not supposed to be there, send it back. Okay? I mean, my family was in the dairy industry. You bring in a truckload of milk, they test it right there. If it doesn't test well, they send it back to the farmer and say, you know, try again.
Yep.
There's a lot of ways you can fix this, but if you let the DCC handle this, they just sit around and they don't do shit until they overreact.
Well, they're a government agency run by Democrats. Of course, that's what they do.
Yeah, well, Dale, I think you got a loser on your hands there, because RFK Jr. is all about that raw milk. Getting that in the hands of more Americans.
So I take it. I take it. He likes Wu-Tang because he says, "Baby, I like it raw."
No, he's anti-pasteurization, man. This is facts.
Fair enough. All right, you guys. I'm gonna roll into my story, final story of the day. You guys are gonna love this. Okay. Rico, oh man. Dale, this one's for you, because you know what I mean. We're gonna end this Thursday with some good old fashioned corruption in California, because
I'm so glad you picked this one, Jason.
Yeah,
got it. I was torn between my story and this one.
Oh, bro, this one is so good, bro. This one is so good, because a Beverly Hills man is sentenced for stealing over $18 million through cannabis-related scams. You guys, that's right. A Beverly Hills man was sentenced to 25 years in prison for scamming over $18 million from victims through cannabis-related cons, and where they're not talking about high times. Mark Roy Anderson, 69, was sentenced on Wednesday for stealing around $18.4 million from investors through fake claims that his companies were involved in hemp farms, cannabis-infused retail products, and a sham bottling business, according to the U.S. Attorney's Office. Instead of investing the funds as promised, Anderson used the money on personal expenses such as real estate in Ojai and purchasing 15 vehicles, including a Ferrari, officials said. At the time of the schemes, Anderson had multiple prior fraud convictions. One scheme was committed while he was in home confinement after being released from federal prison. The second scheme was committed while he was on supervised release for a fraud conviction. Man, someone didn't do their due diligence on this guy. In the first scheme, from June 2020 to April 2021, officials said Anderson tricked investors into providing funding for his company called Harvest Farm Group. The company allegedly processed hemp that was grown on a farm into medical-grade cannabidiol, CBD isolate, a chemical found in marijuana, to be sold for a substantial profit, especially back then. Anderson falsely told victims he owned and operated the Kern County farm and that he had already completed profitable harvest. He claimed he was using his own machinery to convert the hemp into CBD isolate and Delta-8, a psychoactive substance that, like CBD isolate, could be used in consumer products ranging from olive oil to body cream, the DA's office said. To prevent investors from asking for collections or reporting him to law enforcement, Anderson falsely told them that the product sales from the farm-grown hemp were delayed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. He then falsely promised to pay the victims back and that some of the money stemmed from sales recently made to Canadian companies, you guys. In the second scheme, from April of 2021 to May of 2023, Anderson lied to investors that his company, BioPharma, manufactured and sold products infused with CBD, including CBD-infused avocado oil, olive oil, pain cream, gummies, tequila, and chili oil. His other company, Verta Bottling, allegedly manufactured and sold beverages and a variety of food products, you guys. Anderson told victims his companies owned millions of dollars worth of assets, including hemp biomass, CBD isolate, CBD oil, manufacturing equipment, and an assignable lease for a warehouse to manufacture and sell products. He told investors that his bottling companies had a $10 million purchase order from suppliers and drafted fake legal and business documents to support those claims, the DA's office said. Fake samples of the alleged products he was selling were also given to investors, and in both schemes netted Anderson around $18,376,150 from 45 victims, according to court documents. He pleaded guilty to 2 counts of wire fraud in April of 2024, and in a quote, "The magnitude of the fraud is breathtaking," said Judge Anel Rocha at Wednesday's hearing. "The victims' statements reflect the depth of the harm. Many have lost their life savings, reflecting decades of hard work," the judge said. Anel Rocha described Anderson as an, in quotes, an accomplished and incorrigible con man, and stated that the public must be protected from him as long as possible. The defendant stole more than $18 million from dozens of investors by promising quick returns on their investment into hemp farms and other exotic investments, said Joseph McNally, acting U.S. attorney, and an additional quote says, "Today's sentencing takes him off the street so that he cannot harm other victims." Anderson has agreed to forfeit his ill-gotten gains from these schemes, which include the Ojai real estate, the Ferrari, and other items, prosecutors said. Man, oh man, oh man. And this isn't even from the mailboxes scheme in Beverly Hills. What do y'all got to say about this?
Yeah, you know what, Jason? This guy was getting it, man.
Yeah, he was.
You know, fortunately and unfortunately, I've never been in a position to scam motherfuckers out of $18 million. Mm-hmm. But, if you should treat scamming like any other business. It's not just about getting in. You got to have an exit strategy too. Mm-hmm. And,
yeah.
Once you reach a certain point, man, get the fuck out the country.
Exactly. Get it to go. Get that money over to the Cayman Islands. Just look at what all the politicians do with their money. Just take that note.
Just leave. He's came 45 people. Just 45 people out of $18 million. And that's a win. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Buy you up.
That's life-changing money right there. Crazy.
Yeah. This is one of the reasons why I demand that I go take a site visit and kick the tires and slam the doors. Mm-hmm. Some of my clients are like, "Well, why you got to do that?" Well, we're going to run a background check on these motherfuckers too. There's a whole lot of people that get convicted of fraud in some other state, and they're specifically ordered never to be involved in operating, owning a corporation or any business after that.
Yep.
And that stuff's not that hard to find. If somebody's coming at you, say, "Give me $500,000 and I'll triple it in 3 weeks," mafia doesn't get that kind of
Exactly.
It's like at some point you're thinking, are any lights on the dash going off here? Mm-hmm. Okay. And unfortunately, I've come into a lot of these, I call them shit sandwiches, where someone's go, "Oh, they took all my money." Well, let's back up. Who is this guy? Mm-hmm. You know, and it's like you start telling your story and it's like, holy God, did anybody ever do a background check on this guy? Mm-hmm. You go take a look and see, does it really have a farm, a warehouse full of shit that you can touch?
Yeah.
Okay. And if not, walk away. Because once you meet one of these, I mean, honestly, the legal market protects them because they go to jail. Because there was a time when they just find them, if they were lucky, find them in the backwoods with a bullet in their head.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very much.
You can get that 3x, that quick 3x turnaround if you bet on black. Dale.
Yeah. I'm gonna run the table in March Madness.
Yeah, exactly.
Got more likelihood that way.
And the C Word threw in another super chat. He says, I love it when old heads rob legal weed money from new weed companies. I know it's not right, but jealousy-driven revenge narratives are great, he says.
Yes, indeed, man. Like,
man,
I just think this is a very awesome story.
This was a fantastic story, bro. This is a great story today. Oh man, when I saw it, I was like, oh yeah, the gods are with me today.
Yeah, like people were doing some shit during COVID.
Yeah.
Man. Doing some
you know,
because I mean, and you know, and I'm kind of torn on some of these things, these shenanigans that were going down, because like, yo, like I'm gonna try to keep this as minimally political as possible, but tomorrow was not promised during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it's not promised every day.
Going down, man. And when Trump shut everything down, then you just start writing checks and everything. This fool, you know, we had no idea what the death count was going to be tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, things gonna be open, then to be closed. We had like murders on TV. We had Russian infiltration of these protests and everything. Cities burning down. Like it was crazy.
The only thing we had that we could bet on, Rico, is that no one was going to be evicted and that the power wasn't going to get shut off. That was the only thing that we could bet on. That was it.
That was the only thing. We had no idea if we were even going to be able to get out of that shit, man.
Yeah.
Like it was so.
It was like being on house arrest.
I don't know, man.
You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about, Dale.
Maybe some people should be forgiven for what they did during COVID.
So
statute of limitations could not come quicker.
Yeah, you know, Dale, I have a question for you, because this is the part that I'm a little bit confused about. In the beginning of the story, it says that at the time of the schemes, meaning these two schemes that I just mentioned, Anderson had multiple prior fraud convictions. So the fact that he already had fraud convictions, I mean, it doesn't usually, when you get a fraud conviction, doesn't that eliminate you from being able to do these types of things in the first place? Like you go on the blacklist or whatnot.
Jason, you're forgetting he's white.
Stop it. Stop. I want a real answer. I want a real answer.
Jason, we have an old ass white president with 34 felonies, and he got elected.
Those aren't real felonies. Those aren't real felonies. Those are all fake. Those are all fake felonies, bro.
You are a white man.
Those are all fake.
I'm
not white.
People gonna give you money.
Where are they at then? Where are they at, Rico? I need some money. Where are they at? Come on, guys. Wherever you are with the money, come show me.
I want to answer Jason's question.
Yes, please, Dale.
Okay. Because if your husband beats the shit out of you and you go get a domestic violence restraining order, it's only a piece of paper. Okay. It don't stop him from doing it again. And if you get adjudicated a fraud, and let's say, I don't know, Arkansas, Missouri, I don't know, pick some middle of the country state, and they go, you can never own stock, you can never manage or control a business after this, blah, 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 blah. It's only a piece of paper. Now, if you investigate him and you have a little meeting and go, okay, well, I did some background check and it seems you've been convicted of fraud 4 times and you're not supposed to be doing this. What's your story? The shit falls apart right away.
Yeah.
Okay? If you don't do that, some guy comes in with a big smile and a big handshake and, oh, man, I'll make you all this money. And you're not looking behind what he is, kicking the tires, slamming the doors. Part of that's on you.
So it's a lack. It's a lack of due diligence on the investor side of why these 45 individuals lost all this money.
Yeah, this dude, he touched on that FOMO. These people thought they were gonna miss.
Hurry up! You're gonna miss the opportunity. We're gonna make so much money together, you guys. It's gonna be so big. You're gonna be so flush with green. It's gonna be like growing money on trees. Have you ever seen a money tree?
You gotta buy the dip.
Yeah.
Buy the dip.
Well, I represented a guy who lost, like $500,000 of his family's money. Okay? It was just stupid. And so when he got all that fixed up, his family, which has got a big trust with money, He said, "Can you help me?" I said, "Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is run a background check on every motherfucker that he wants to do business with. I'm going to fly out, I'm going to kick the tires and slam the doors to make sure that you're not buying a pig in a poke, because he wants to go out and keep doing the same sort of stuff." And it's like, yeah, you can do this. It's costly, okay? Due diligence is not cheap if you do it right, but it saves you from losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. Because they may get the Ferrari back, they might get the property back, but they're not getting the full value of what they took.
They're definitely not getting the full value of that Ferrari, because that's been driven around, raced around. Like he's out, woo-hoo-hoo, hot boying it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Man, that was good. That was good.
I hope we had fun while it lasted. Went on a hell of a run there.
Yeah.
They can reach out even in prison and have a little chat with your ass. I'll tell you what.
My God.
It happens.
Man.
That was a good one. That was a good one to end the day on, Jason.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to our super fans getting their comments posted live on the big screen, announced live by the team.
The C word today threw in 2 of those, and so thank you so much, the C word. We appreciate that very much.
Yes, indeed. The C word always coming true. And if you want to get down, oh no, man! My button ain't working, man. My button ain't working. I'm trying to give him the air horn. Can you give him a little air horn, love?
I don't have an air horn on my soundboard, Anthony. We need to put an air horn on the soundboard.
There we go. There we go. Yeah.
There we go.
If you would like the same to be done for you, just give us a couple dollars. We are for sale.
Yes.
Big love to the rest of our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms. Tune in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respective opinions to the table. Production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping the lights on. AV struggles to a minimum. Anthony behind the scenes, always keeping us tight.
Yes.
As always, Cannabis Sativa L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you too. It has been Thursday, March 27th, 2025. The show is over. You've all been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. My name is Rico Lamitte, the dopest DEI daddy.
Yeah. The identifying marker right there.
Hey, we got a DUI.
There's a DUI checkpoint in Huntington Beach tonight.
Whiskey leaks in the office. No, you gotta go there. As High 9 News, cannabis industry's #1 daily news show. We're gonna pop things out to the ATX. Stone Slade, what you got for these good people? Take us out, man.
Oh man, people, do your homework. Don't get frauded by fraudsters.
So don't buy Delta 8, right?
For the love of God, care about what you put in your body. Find out what you're smoking. Don't smoke some shit.
And know who is in your damn group messages.
Who's in your contact list.
Yeah. and don't forget to check your signals, you guys. Don't forget, don't cross your signals.
Love y'all.
Later. Oh, that was fun.